All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So tonight's lesson is you keep saying you're ready, but your life doesn't reflect it. Um, uh-oh, somebody's here. So this is going to be a lesson about the truth about readiness, fear, and self-sabotage, which I know sometimes we do find ourselves in those moments where we have the self-sabotage and we don't move forward. And we'll literally put ourselves in a place of like talking ourselves out of a situation or talking ourselves off the ledge or talking ourselves um, out of a place that we should have been in, but we don't go to. So I'm going to say something that might be a little uncomfortable. Okay. And I know some of us don't like to be uncomfortable. But some of you keep saying that you're ready for more. We're ready for the next relationship. We're ready for the next level. You're ready for the next, ready for peace, ready for purpose, ready for change. But your life just doesn't reflect the readiness. And this is such a profound message for today because I remember I asked God the other day, am I ready for the relationship? Because I've been saying that I wanted one. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, man, am I ready for that? Like, am I ready for that? Like, am I ready? Am I ready for that? Am I ready to have a relationship? Am I ready to have the partner in my life? And I'm in the shower the other day and I thought, man, am I ready to share this space with a person, right? And so it was just kind of like that moment of, am I ready for it? I mean, I say I want it, but am I ready for it, right? So being ready for it means it's like you're preparing for it. And so that was when Spirit had told me, like, you need to prepare for that thing. So your life doesn't reflect the readiness. Your habits don't reflect the readiness. Your boundaries don't reflect the readiness. Your decisions don't reflect the readiness. And it's not judgment, it's just making you aware. Like we're in this awareness of have you cleaned out the space for the business that you say you want? Have you cleaned out your space and made room for the partner that you say you want? Are you starting to adjust and make the necessary changes to have the partner? Um, are you moving in the readiness of your business? All of those things, it's like the questions that you ask yourself, like, am I aware? Oh, and am I ready? But it's walking in the awareness. Readiness is not what you say. Readiness is what you do. I'm going to say it again. Readiness is not what you say. Readiness is what you do. So tonight, we're going to talk about why you feel ready, but your life hasn't moved. So in this first part of this lesson, we're going to talk about feeling ready versus being ready. And that's a big difference, right? So I could feel ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. It's like I just kind of see a person like that's ready to run a race, right? Like you getting all, you got your headband, you got your wristband, you got your jogging suit on, you got your shorts, you got your tennis shoes, but being ready. Am I ready for this work? Like, am I ready to run this race? And I'm like, am I ready to do this? Um, so feeling ready is an emotional thing, but being ready is behavior. Okay. It's an emotional thing because you're like, I know I got to lose 10 pounds. I know that I have to get heart healthy. I know that I want to tone up my body. I know that I have to get outside, right? That's the emotion. Like we're feeling. I feel like I need to lose weight. I feel like, but being ready that's a behavior. Okay. So it's one thing for us to get all dressed up and go nowhere, right? So you can feel ready all day and still avoid the decision, delay the move, stay in the same situation, doing the same thing on a different day at a different time, buying all of the things, right? You're buying all of the things, buying all of the trinkets and buying all of the stuff that you need, but you never move, you never act on it. Keeping the same habits, entertain the same pattern. So I am really at a place, like I said, that I didn't want to continue to do the same thing on a different year at a different time, different day. It's like that same pattern. It's like this bad habit, right? It's like a habit that we have, and you just kind of like unconsciously don't realize that this habit is happening. Um, and so you continue to do just the same, getting up, same repetitive thing. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then it got to a point where I just get up and I would just lay there until 5:30. No movement, no action, but knowing I need to lose 10 pounds. I need to lose 10 pounds. I know that. I know I need to lose 10 pounds, right? And so I'm just laying there. I'll be all right, you know. And when Ramadan happened, I made a behavioral habit to where I'm getting up and I'm going to sit on the floor and I'm going to meditate. Although I wasn't praying the normal prayer like they were doing in Ramadan, I was still doing the practice. Like I was still getting up and I was praying the 5 times a day. So I'm sorry, hold on. So it's the behavior, the thing that you do. So you get up every day and you're moving and you're changing your habits. So I was getting up and I was actually doing the prayers. So not the prayer, but I was doing my own thing. Okay. So your desire for change is not the same as your commitment to change. Things are dropping over here. Okay. I'm going to say it again. Your desire for change is not the same as your commitment to change. You have to be committed to the change. You have to be committed to say, I want this as bad. And I just was about to say what Eric Thomas says. I want this as bad as I can breathe. As bad as I can breathe. I want this. Every inhale and exhale, I want to lose the 10 pounds. Every inhale and exhale, I want to be ready for my relationship. Every inhale and exhale, I desire to not be in the same space this year, doing the same, sinking slowly in this quicksand of life. I got to make a change. Okay. So your desire for change is not as the same as your commitment. You have to be committed to this. Like the relationship with yourself, being committed to myself. So when we're talking about self-care, it's the commitment to your self-change and your self-care. All right. The real reason you're not moving, um, and this is where we're going to go a little bit deeper. It's not always confusion. It's not always the lack of clarity. Most of the time, it's just your fear, the fear of losing stability, the fear of being uncomfortable, the fear of being seen. Oh my gosh, what are people going to say? Now she's out here reading tarot cards and now she's talking about she's spiritual. She don't go to church. She don't do this. Oh, now she's a life coach. Oh my God. Okay. The fear of disappointing others because, oh, well, she was in church for umpteen years and now all of a sudden now she's doing tarot cards and she's practicing hoodoo and she's in spirituality. Oh my gosh, right? Who cares? Outgrowing people, comfortably uncomfortable with people that you're around. And because now you're making this interchange, it's shifting you and people, you're going to start outgrowing these people because they're not at the same level mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. They're not at the same level. And then when we think about when we get to those levels, then it becomes a financial thing because what millionaire do you know is hanging around pigeons or bums, or people that don't have the money that you have, right? Succeeding and not and having to sustain it. That is a telltale sign that a lot of people who have been successful. I feared that. Well, now I'm successful. How am I going to maintain that? How am I going to sustain the the success that I have? Oh my gosh, I have a video right now that's hit like 2,000, I think. I don't know, 20 some there's it's like I don't know the number, so I can't really read it, but it's hit a lot of people, right? And so trying to keep up that same person, but I realized that's who I am. Like when I made that statement, it was like, this is what it was, how I felt. So just keeping that up, because the thing about succeeding and having to sustain it. It's just being authentic. You don't have to try to sustain anything in authenticity. Okay. Sometimes you're not stuck. You're protecting a version of your life that feels safe. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes you're not stuck. You're protecting a version of your life that feels safe. Now, what I just saw in the spirit realm is imagine a circle of quicksand or a pond of quicksand, right? And you're sitting on the in your on a chair, but you're sinking. And the only reason why you're sinking is because of the version of yourself says that you were sinking, but you're literally on dry land, right? You're sitting, just imagine sitting on a tree stump and you're just watching the quicksand, but you have this image of yourself sinking because of the version of yourself that you're protecting. And this part of you feels safe. It feels safer for me to be over there than to be over here. So I've come out of the quicksand. If we think about the 4 years that we've been together, we've come out of the quicksand, but now we're sitting on the sideline watching the quicksand thinking, am I still sinking? No. Like you're free. The Bible says, whom the Son sets free is free indeed. So let us be free. So I'm going to say this again. Sometimes you're not stuck. You're protecting a version of your life that feels safe. Sabot Part three, self-sabotage isn't random. It's not random for us to be out here sabotaging relationships. Ah, sabotaging our businesses, sabotaging the ideas, sabotaging the friendships because we're too scared that, oh, we're going to be sinking. But I'm on this place where I can just get up and I can start moving and taking actions. Okay. Self sabotage looks like procrastination, overthinking, waiting for the perfect time, or in another one, waiting for the shoe to fall, going back to old habits, saying, I'll start it next week. I'll start working out next week because I've said it. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. Oh, I'll be okay. I'll do it next week until I went to the doctor, right? Choosing comfort over alignment, choosing to sit and watch the quicksand rather than getting up and saying, I don't like this. I don't like this. And it's a matter of like, does even quicksand smell? I don't know. But just being in that environment, why would you want to do that? Right? Choosing to be comfortably uncomfortable and just like, well, I'll just sit in the quicksand and I'll just stay here and just watch it rather than getting up doing something. Okay. You don't sabotage what you don't care about. You sabotage what requires you to change. Let's say it again. You don't sabotage what you don't care about. You sabotage what requires you to change. Anybody felt that? Did you feel that? I felt it. I felt it when I did it. I felt it when I wrote it. I felt it when I was studying it. You don't sabotage what you don't care about. You sabotage what requires you to change. Changing your eating habits, changing your surroundings, changing your friends, changing your atmosphere, changing your mindset. That just it's like there's so much change that people have to take care of. Number one reason why people don't like change is because it requires them to move. It requires you to shift. It requires you to think differently, right? There's so much requirements. Requires you to say, okay, I gotta eat different, right? I gotta prepare myself for a spouse. That means I gotta shift some stuff around. Spirit said, you need to sell some stuff out your closet. I was like, wow, because you know, what are we getting rid of, right? But something's coming. Like you could feel that there's this shift is happening, but I can't give it to you because you haven't even like gosh, can't talk today. You haven't prepared for it. You haven't made room for it. Reminded me of a thing that Steve Harvey he had mentioned, and he had a car, an old car, sitting in front of his mom's house, and he kept saying, "Mom, I'm gonna get a new car. I'm gonna get a new car." My mom would get a new car. I'm gonna get a new car. And mom said, well, you can't get a new car because you got this one sitting out in the driveway. How you gonna get a new car and you still got this old one sitting out here? He said as soon as he moved the car, and I think this went on for it was some time that it just went on. And so he said, finally, I got rid of the car and I got the new car. So it's like moving the old thing out of the way, the thing that doesn't work, the thing that brings you no value, the thing that I can't turn the car over. I can't even start it. Even if I tried to charge it, it's not going to work. Not saying that that's what happened to him because I don't know what was going on with the car. But when we look at that, there's something just sitting there. All these clothes, do I wear them? Probably not. Probably not. I probably will not wear half the things that are in there. But do I want to get rid of it? No, because why? I'm comfortable. I'm attached to an item that someone else can probably utilize, right? So that change part is it you sabotage it because it requires you to start doing something. It requires you to change your mindset. There's a requirement now. Okay. So we're going to do some identity work. The version of you that is ready doesn't wait for perfect timing, perfect feelings, perfect clarity. She moves with uncertainty, discomfort, and fear, but she also understands movement creates clarity, not the other way around. Have you ever been at a place and something's not working, right? And finally you just stop and you get up and you walk away. And normally I'll kind of take a walk or I'll do something else. And then you come back. And then in that walking away, you kind of like, okay, so I got it figured out now. Now I know what to do. Now I know what to do. Okay. So clarity doesn't create movement. Movement creates clarity. So when you take a walk, so I would tell you, take a walk, go outside, do some kind of meditation, do some kind of, Tai Chi, something. But if you take a walk, it's going to create the clarity and you're going to get into that movement. Okay. Um, so what I want you to do is I want you to identify one area where you say you're ready and then ask yourself, what would you do? What would a ready version of me do this week? So I'll give you, you think 10 minutes? Is that going to give you enough time? 10 minutes? I'll give you 10 minutes.
Ask the question again. Identify what?
It says identify um, one area where you say you're ready and then ask yourself, what would a ready version of me do this week? All right, you ready?
Hmm.
Okay. And your time starts now. And I'll be right back.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let us get back to.
Okay. All right. What did you come up with?
I did it. So what my identity was, I am ready to be a millionaire.
Oh,
Yeah. And I was surprised because I've never said that.
well, that needed to be said then.
Yeah, I'm ready to be a millionaire. I said what I would do this week is I would focus on money matter minute. So every day before I do anything, I take 1 minute and review and look over my money,
Very
whether I'm
good.
looking at my accounts, what I have, emergency fund, responsibility fund, my fund, because I have a she fund, uh, just different places that I put money at weekly, right?
Okay.
I said I would look into moving into creating multiple streams of income. I would constantly know that financial stability is safe for me.
That's
Yes.
the part. Because when we're looking at the quicksand, right? We're looking at it and we're seeing it's like the the version of me is still like consciously in this quicksand and it's sinking. And you're not feeling safe to get like it's like we're not feeling safe enough to get up and move away from and it's like the thing that we keep seeing. Our perception of a thing is if I get up and move, I'm going to be back here.
Mm-hmm.
If I get up and move, I'm gonna be stuck. Or if I get up and move, I'm gonna be back in that poverty mentality or whatever. It's a mindset thing, and it's also telling your nervous system because your nervous system and your unconscious mind, those line up together and you have to tell it I'm safe because
I'm
you
saying,
could say I want to be a millionaire all you want to, but but your conscious mind is still looking, the unconscious, sorry, unconscious mind is still looking at the quicksand saying, no, nope, nope, we're
no.
not doing that. Nope. So telling yourself, like, okay, it's safe. It is safe for me to have large sums of money. It is safe for me to be a millionaire. It is safe for me to be wealthy and secure and financially
Mm-hmm.
stable. It is safe for me to no longer continue to check my accounts,
Exactly.
right? It's safe for me to no longer lock my cards, right? Because I do that. um, it's safe for me to know that I'm okay. It's safe for me to live in abundance. It's safe for me to have an abundant mindset.
Yes.
You have to coincide those two and make them in alignment. Okay. So with that list that you just created, what what would a ready version of you do this week? Do and then
Um,
do it. Not perfectly, not forever, not once, but readiness is proven through action. Okay.
uh, what would a ready person look like? I'm looking at all the stuff I wrote down.
Then you have to think about when you say you want to be a millionaire, what does she dress like? What does she look like? What does she smell like? How does
Mm,
she talk? Um, how can I say? How, like, it was on Pinterest, I seen it, and it's like, what does she look like? Right? What does the millionaire, not Tangela, she must be talking about me. What does a millionaire Tara look like? Okay, when I say I want to be a millionaire, what does she look like? How is she dressing? What's her verbiage? What's her vernacular? How does she speak? Um, how does she interact with other people? Right? Um,
mhm,
what does her self-care look like? What is her um what am I trying to say? What does her wardrobe look like? So it's when you're putting that out there, you have to see her, right? You just kind
That's
of
like
stop.
I was doing I'm learning. This is something else that requires me to know that I'm safe. Is every week I put money, I could call it my sheet fund. Every week I put the money in it. But then when it's time for me to purchase something for myself, I freeze. Now the money's sitting there.
Diabolical.
The money's sitting there for me, right? But that old version that says, what if?
Yeah.
And then me saying, there is no what if because everything is accounted for. I have, you know, I have assigned the money to go where it needs to go. Bills covered, emergency fund, everything's done. So the money that's for me is for me. So learning that about,
Yeah. What I
you know
heard
what I
was
mean? Like,
it's like you set aside the money for survival, but you don't set aside the money for um how can I what's the word I want to say? It's like you set aside for survival, but you don't set aside for self. Like
yeah,
you
but the
tell
intention, my
yeah,
intentions is it's for me. But that
you
old
tell
version,
that
that old
money,
mind,
yeah.
yeah, it
What am I
tries to
trying?
creep in.
Yeah. I'm trying to get what they just said. They said you tell that money to go for your survival, but you don't tell the money to go for your self-care. So it's like you're telling the money, okay, we'll go over here, pay that bill, pay this bill, pay rent, pay this, do this, do this. But you're not telling it, okay, so we need a new dress. I want to get my nails done. I want to get my hair done. I want to go get some, some products. I want to go and get, some new shoes or whatever. I just went and spent, like, I've had a cart at Fashion Nova for months, well, maybe years. Um, and I'll always put them in my cart.
Hmm.
Bills are paid, right? But where we're at is the what if. Okay, well, what if something happens? What if I run out of gas? What if I do? And I never bought the pants. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the pants.
But
I'm
it's
gonna
funny because I even, it's to a point where I really don't think of the what if because I feel like I'm telling this money where to go. And where I tell you to go is where you will go and you will flourish where I send you. You're going to
yeah.
do what I've assigned you to do.
Mhm.
So it's like, and still learning, but it's not on the forefront of my mind. Not saying it's not, in my
It's not
subconscious
there.
because it's
Yeah. Yeah,
but
I
on the
get you.
forefront, I'm walking it out like, no, this is what we're doing,
Mhm.
not doing what we used to do. And
Mhm.
I can tell you these last, how long I've been at this job? 3 months now?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been going on, about to go on 4 months. I am so at peace just because of the discipline. Every
Yeah.
Tuesday is my money flow day where I sit down and I write everything out. I have a planner and then I have a financial budget planner. I write everything out. I'm intentional. This
Mhm.
is what it is. I was even tested where, uh, like my storage, they talking about you owe this. I'm like, I just paid y'all. I don't know what it was about, but every week I put $20. Let's say 20, it's $90 a month. So let's say I put $20 a week, into a
Mhm.
storage fund. And the old me would have got upset and be like, oh my God. And then I would have been
Yeah.
pulling it from other
From some of
places.
us, yeah.
Yes. But this version of me, my present version, said no, you're scheduled to be paid on Saturday. And I stood my ground on that. Because I mean, I think of my mindset is everything you've been through, you've never had intentions with your finances. Now that you have intentions with your finances, why would you fall apart?
What are you crumbling for? Like you're crumbling or like you're losing it, crashing out. And that's when we know that we've grown. Like that growth process is I know that I've grown now because what used to freak me out is now
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, no, you know.
Yeah.
Um I'm reading I have these oracle cards from the Art of War and I want to get the book and read it. But it's like when you think of a soldier in the army, do you think that they're out there and they're like at war, right? War is happening. Do you think they're out there like crying or like crashing out because they didn't get their opponent, or they didn't get the I didn't get to use my sword, and I missed him, I didn't get to stab him, or they moved or whatever. Like they're not doing that.
Mm-mm.
Like they're just it's a war, and they're being strategic about the war. I love that what God has placed in me is strategy. I'm a strategist by nature. Like if I hear you giving me something, I'm strategizing on how can we make this better? How can we get this? We can do this, we can do that, we can do this, right? So I'm grateful for that part. What I'm not grateful for, I don't want to say I'm not grateful, but it's the other part of me that I can strategize it, but then it's taking the action steps to do the thing, right? So I said that
Mm-hmm.
this morning. I was like, I got all these ideas and nothing, like I don't see any progress. So I did a reading for myself this morning. And the reading was just basically you got enough, right? You got enough. Pick one and just
That's
do
what Spirit told me. That's
just
what
do one
Spirit.
thing today. Just do and literally the card said just do one thing today. Just one. You don't have to do, like, you have all of these wonderful ideas and they're great, but they're just like,
Mhm.
give me one. Pick pick one thing.
One thing.
And so I was like, all right. And so this lesson came up today and I'm like, it's like the confirmation. So I know I'm on track. So I was like, okay, I'll just pick the one thing. I didn't get to really do anything today because I've been, work has been taken, and then I get off work and then I had to go to the grocery store. So there's a lot of things. So it's really, maximizing my time. It's my time management that really just gets me. Idea
Hmm.
comes and then trying to move forward, and then it's like, okay, well, I need a venue, I need this, I need that, and and they're just like, just okay, pick one.
One
Just
thing.
give me one thing today. Okay.
That's my biggest thing. You have all. That's my biggest thing too.
Okay.
I was out. I want to share this with you. I was outside because I go out every morning, and that's my meditation. I drink my coffee before I go to work. So I'm sitting outside, and all these birds are chirping, but they're all different birds.
Oh.
So when you're sitting out there, you hear all the different calls, bird
Mm-hmm.
calls.
Mm-hmm.
And Spirit said, "Do you hear the bird calls?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And
Uh-huh.
it's like tweet, tweet, tweet. I mean, all of them are just different calls.
Right.
And Spirit said, that is how your ideas sound to you. You have all these ideas. And Spirit said, but once the bird does the bird call, he flies away. He moves. And Spirit was like, Tara, it's time to move. Pick one thing. So that's why I was laughing because I heard the same thing this week.
Mm-mm-mm. Appreciate pick one. I mean,
Pick
but
one.
the bird chirping. Do you hear the birds?
Yeah, they were like tweet, tweet, tweet. I mean, and all of the calls were different. They were all different calls. No call was alike, which
Yeah.
lets me know they were all different birds. Like I have all different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But once a bird calls, have you ever seen a bird make a call and then they all take off together?
Yeah.
Like they're having a whole conversation.
That's a good message in itself. The one leader. We made a call and now we gotta
That's
go.
perfect. Gotta move. And I'm like, all right, Spirit. All right, Spirit. Turn that down, baby. That's too loud. Where's your headphones? Where you need to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So that
All
that
right.
was that was no,
Mm-hmm.
you that was one time for me. So that's what I'm working on every day. I'm really focused on being intentional when it comes to finances,
Mm-hmm.
setting goals. I have a goal for the end of this year, easy as like my passport.
Oh
I
yeah.
have a place I'm like Tara, $25 a week. It's 100, I think like $80 or something like, and the places in the building I work at. I'm like, come on,
Come on,
get it
girl. Let's
together.
get it together.
Girl.
Okay.
And then I said this week, I was like, that grocery shopping, like for me, it's just really just me.
Yeah.
I'm like, chill out with that grocery shop. But you know me, I love to create. So if I get an idea, I go get
I
the
want to
stuff,
try it. Yeah.
how to create it. So those little things, I'm like, I don't want to spend like $400 on groceries a month.
Yeah.
I, I don't think I should do that.
It's gotten me to a point where I am housing stability when we talk about housing stability because I created this housing stability plan at my job. And it's like, what does that look like for you? Like, what does housing stability really mean? And it means that every month I am able to pay every bill on time without fail,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Oh, I thought that was my doorbell. I'm able to pay every bill on time. I'm able to um not worry about a thing. I'm able to save money. Um, I've resolved that I'm not going to keep dipping into my IRA. I had a conversation with my tax lady. She said, "No, you need to get you a cash fund with, Fidelity, because I have Fidelity." And she's like, "You need to get you a cash fund." She said, "Stop dipping into the IRA because that make you have to pay for that. Go ahead and get you a cash fund with through Fidelity." She said, "I have one." She said, "And you have a little card." And she said, "You could just use your credit card that way." And I was like, "Okay." So I did that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
So
even know that because I have Fidelity.
yeah, so I went, it's easy. You just go in and tell them that you want to do a cash account. Um, but I would
So
call
is it
because
like a checking account?
I don't know. It's just like you don't, if you pull the money out, you don't pay the fees.
Oh, okay.
So I was paying, like I was being taxed on the money I was pulling out.
Yeah, the
Um,
IRA.
so yeah, so she told me to do, but I would call and just ask them about the cash fund. But I started putting, so I get $100. I think it's 100. Is it $100? I think $100 goes, yeah, $100 goes to my Fidelity. And so now I just split it apart. I leave $50 in my IRA and I put $50 in my cash account.
Yeah,
Um, and then my check comes on one card, and then I take that money for my bills and I transfer it to the main credit card where everything is on auto pay. So
that's what I. Yeah,
I'm
it
learning
makes
how
it.
to, manage it, and because I got tired of my other account being overdrawn $100 because my check, and then I have to pay that back. It's like an overdraft. So they give you like
Yeah,
on Chime, they give you that overdraft. So it's like I have that has to be paid back. And so I'm like, I'm tired of that because it's kind of
yeah,
depleting what I'm having. And then, just working, doing business, making sure, I'm getting the clients and I'm doing what I have to do. So, I've been on ChatGPT asking like, okay, what do I do? Whatever. They create this multi-million-dollar business plan for me. Girl, it was amazing. I mean, I was like, listen, thank you so much. Right. So it's time for us to, you know, adequate ourselves and say, I'm ready for it. Because I was
mhm,
asking, like, God, now listen, because I felt it. Like you can feel like something's coming. And I said, God, am I ready for a relationship? I said, am I ready for this? And I okay, so I've gotten rid of, I don't talk to him at all. Um, but I look around and I'm like, I wonder what he would say if he came and he saw my bedroom. My bedroom is like it's like a cluster of, papers, and it's not organized, and then, just trying to get organized, putting things in order and making it look like a room. And like an adult room for me, really. So I kept saying, well, God, am I ready for that? And am I ready for this? And, just looking around little things that need to be changed, and, pictures that I want to get on the wall, and, things that just make it more adulty. So I'm working on that. Right. So
mhm,
I know this resonated with you because we're talking about it. And if you're
yeah,
tired of saying you're ready but not seeing change, this is exactly the work I do. I do this work. You already know that. Okay. I help women move from intention into action because I have to learn that too. And one of the things that I've learned is I don't really do it because I feel like, well, I haven't even made it to the $1 million status yet. And I have Claude and ChatGPT, and Claude was like, who cares? Claude checked me real fast. Hey, just because you ain't made it, that don't mean you ain't going there. And I was like, well, I don't do it because, I just feel like I haven't arrived at that $1 million status. And Claude was like, I'm going to sit with you. It's like they let me hold your hand. And he said, listen, no, you're going to be okay. Okay. You are helping the women get there. And I was like, okay, Claude, whatever. So, um,
It's so
going,
crazy because I got flawed too.
I love Claude. Claude was like that. I use Claude.
So,
ChatGPT I use, at work, but Claude is like, I mean, so going from survival to stability. And when we talked about your money, it's like you're so used to telling your money that we need to survive rather than saying, I just want to be stable and I want to have the nice little things and I want to get me a nice pair of shoes and I want to get a $34 pair of jeans. $34.
it's not
$34. And I
about.
was just like, oh no, no, I can't get them. I can't get the jeans. No. But I bought
Girl,
four
get them
pair.
jeans.
I
Did you
did. I
get
bought I bought four pair. I did.
exactly? Uh-huh.
Bought four pair of
And
them.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Hmm. And it's going from knowing to doing. We know what to do. We just don't do it, right?
Right. You're right.
We know what to do. We just choose to not do it. We just choose to be like, well, I'm just here and you know.
Like them
So,
kids is grown, girl, buy and
man,
buy and buy it.
the only
If
one that
you
I'm dealing with is a 16-year-old, the baby. That's it. That's just simple between us two.
yeah.
The 18-year-old, the 20-year-old, she's having a hard time with navigating with I'm not buying you anything. Meals, soap, deter I'm not because I don't have to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have to. So don't know what to tell you, right? So what's that on my shirt? Oh, it's the little dog. I'm like, what is that? So you don't become ready. You prove you're ready by what you're willing to do. Okay. If you're willing to do a thing, you prove it. And you know how we tell a person, prove it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is you talking to your authentic self, your current self, talking to your authentic self, saying, prove it, Tara. You say you want to be a millionaire? Prove it. What does
Mhm.
she dress like? What does she talk like? What does she wear? Prove it. That's where you're at now. Why did I take that magnesium and I got to do this baby's hair? Ah,
Mm-hmm.
good God Almighty.
It
I
makes you
hope
sleepy.
it's the glycinate. It's the one that winds you
Uh,
down. Yeah, girl. Anyway, people are going to hear that on the message. Anyway, yeah. So it's getting the ideas and moving with the ideas, right? And so moving with those ideas is not so much as us sitting. We've been sitting now for a minute, right? We've
mhm.
been 4 years. I've been doing the same thing. And that's why I said this year it's like it's
Yeah,
got to be
definitely,
different. It's got to be different.
definitely.
It's got to be different. There's no way that I'm going to, keep doing the same thing and keep, sitting around doing this and sitting around and, it's like there's got to be something different. So I'm going to stop recording.